Greetings, comrades! It is I, Mariam, the only Mariam, and thank you so much for tuning in. In our last video and our very first language lesson together, we learned various expressions which are used when giving self-introductions, when saying hello, and when saying goodbye. In today's language lesson, we will be building upon the foundation that we built last time, and we will be learning other sorts of expressions that are used when giving self-introductions, polite expressions of different sorts, ways of apologizing, ways of saying thank you, and so on. Before we get started, my advice to you as a fellow language learner would be to use a piece of paper and a pencil or a notebook and a pen to record all the expressions that we learned today so that reviewing them and memorizing them becomes much easier. Furthermore, I will be repeating each expression multiple times in English and in Armenian. Anyways, enough with all the shenanigans, let's get to some language learning. So, vora kairen Mariami het. Now let's learn ways of thanking people. First of all, we have merci, thank you, merci. Now, in case if you haven't noticed, this word can also be found in French, Romanian, and Farsi, and is more, I suppose, of a foreign word that found its way into Armenian. But merci is a quick, short, easy way of saying thank you. However, we also have the dreaded and quite tough word to say, շնորհակալություն. Thank you, շնորհակալություն. Now you see, շնորհակալություն quite literally means gratitude. So in Armenian, you don't really say thank you, like you don't, let's say, impose a verb on someone else, but instead you just put a noun out there, շնորհակալություն. If that's a bit difficult for you to say, let's break it down. Շնորհակալություն. Շնորհակալություն. If you keep practicing, you'll eventually get the hang of it. Trust me. How do we respond to this? In order to say you're welcome in Armenian, the easiest way is to say խնդրեմ. Now, this quite literally means I plead, but in a different sort of verbal tense. And it's kind of like how in Russian you say пожалуйста, which could mean you're welcome or please. It is quite difficult to explain as so many things are in the Armenian language, but as you study more, you will get the gist of it. You can also say charji in informal situations and charge in more formal situations, and this quite literally means let it not have any value. Arjel means to have value, and charji or charge means let it just not have any value, like it's nothing. You can also say vochinch, which means nothing, or vochinch meaning it's nothing. How do you say please in Armenian? Because, you know, our manners are very important, especially in this culture of ours. To say please, you say խնդրեմ, please. For example, if I would like to order a coffee at a cafe in Armenia, I can say mi kofe խնդրեմ, please, խնդրեմ. And this word quite literally means I plead, or it's like a shortened version. Another way to say please in Armenian that kind of builds off what we just learned is խնդրում, which is like, you know, a much longer version of խնդրեմ. And this is when you're really pleading for something. It really means I am pleading. And you're saying խնդրում, I'm pleading, or please, please. These words come from the word խնդրել in Armenian, which means to ask for or sometimes to demand for. Next up, a very polite expression that is crucial to know would be how to say bless you to somebody once they sneeze. So in English, we say God bless you. And in Armenian, we actually just say health when somebody sneezes. Just like how Germans say Gesundheit when somebody sneezes, just health. And that would be առողջություն in Armenian, health or bless you, առողջություն. So let's imagine somebody sneezes, and first of all, it's quite interesting because the sound for sneezing in Armenian is hapchi versus achu. So imagine your friend goes like hapchi. What do we say to them? Առողջություն. You will also find it common that many Armenians also use a second expression for bless you when somebody sneezes, and this is mostly people that speak the Persian Armenian dialect, so this isn't very common in Armenia and with most Armenians. But sometimes if you sneeze a second time, an Armenian might say to you, Arkayutun, which means kingdom. So this is quite weird, but we quite literally say kingdom to someone else when they sneeze for the second time. And I suppose this is a way of wishing regality upon someone else, or I don't know, our polite expressions are quite very polite, to say the least. Now, how do we say I'm sorry in Armenian? Because, you know, everyone makes mistake, except for me, of course. I'm kidding, obviously, but this is conspicuously a very important phrase to know, especially if you're trying to speak with a native speaker for the first time and it doesn't go too well. But to say sorry, or I am sorry in Armenian, you can say nerekhutun. I am sorry, nerekhutun. Now, this word quite literally means forgiveness, and it's like when you're saying this word as a way of saying sorry, you are kind of like, you know, asking for nerekhutun or forgiveness when you say that. Another way of saying I am sorry is nerir ins, which quite literally means forgive me, but this is the informal version, and we also have nerek ins, which is the formal version of forgive me. Now, a final way to say I'm sorry is ganerek or ganeres. Ganerek is the formal version and ganeres is the informal version. I will soon be making a video explaining the difference between those two, but ganerek or ganeres quite literally means you will forgive, and it's more of like an excuse me, not so much of a very formal expression. It's more like if you bump into somebody, you say ganerek, or if you're trying to get somebody's attention and say excuse me, you say ganerek or ganeres. Just as a note, ins means to me or of me. It's like the word me, but in a different sort of grammar case. I suppose it can be called reflexive, I'm not exactly sure, but I soon will be releasing videos on the Armenian language and its grammar cases because we have around 7 or 8, I don't remember which one it is, so there's quite many of those to learn. Now let's learn how to say it is nice to meet you, because this is definitely an expression you will need when giving self-introductions or meeting people for the first time. Now, first of all, the word for pleasure or enjoyment in Armenian is hajuik. Enjoyment, hajuik. So when you want to say it is nice to meet you, you can say hajeli, which means enjoyable, or is. See, in Armenian, when we want to say that something is or it is enjoyable, we often don't say the it in, it's more like is enjoyable. So when you say hajeliye, you are quite literally saying is enjoyable. And this is just our way of saying it is nice to meet you. However, if you would like to say something a bit more impressive and a bit more formal, you can say hajeliye dzerhet zanotanal. Let's decipher this. So as we just established, hajeliye means it is enjoyable or it is pleasurable. Dzerhet means with you. And zanotanal is the infinitive for to meet with or to meet up with. So we are quite literally saying it is pleasurable to meet with you, or nice to meet you. Hajeliye dzerhet zanotanal. If you want to say this but in a more informal situation, you simply change the pronoun and the sentence becomes hajeliye kohet zanotanal. And remember, if you are meeting someone or meeting up with someone in Armenia, never forget to give them hugs and kisses. Now, how do we ask someone how they are? First of all, let's start off with a very easy but more informal and slangish expression. We have inchka chka. What's up? Inchka chka. So inch means what, and chka is there is not, and ga is there is. So you are quite literally saying what is there, what isn't there. It's kind of like how in English when we say what's up, we don't literally mean what is up on the ceiling, we just mean what's new. Now, our first informal way of asking someone, how are you, is du wohnst. Let's decipher this. Du wohnst. Du, just like in German, is the informal version of you. S is the word for are when it's used for the du pronoun. Wohnst means how. So du wohnst is you how are. You can also say du inchbesses. Inchbes quite literally means what way, and it's just used as the word how in the sentence. So for how are you, in an informal setting, we can say du vonces, how are you, or du inchpes. Now, in a formal setting, we would say duk vont ek. Duk is the formal version of you, and it can either be used with someone who is older than you or of more authority or a stranger, or when you're speaking to a group of people. So it's kind of like our y'all in some ways. Duk vont ek, and ek is R for when it's used for duk. Duk vont ek, how are you? We can also say duk inchpes ek, how are you? Duk inchpes ek. Now you see, in Armenian you can also often remove the du or the duk in the sentence, and you can say vonces. And this literally means how are. Vonces or inchpeses. Or in a more formal setting, inchpesek, vonsek. Now how do we respond? First, to say I am well, you can say yes lavem. Yes lav yem. So yes means I, and yem is am. Doesn't it sound so similar? Yes lav em means I am well, and lav means good or okay. Kind of sounds like love. However, since this is Armenian, we can sometimes remove many words from the sentence, and you can just say lav, like good. Or you can say lavem, am well, am good. To say I am doing extremely well, we have the word shot, which means a lot. So it's kind of funny because in English we have that song that goes shots, 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 shots. And in Armenian it sounds like a lot, a lot, a lot. So to say I am very well in Armenian, we can say yes shat lav yam. Or shat lav, meaning very well. Or shat lavem, am very well. But to ask, and you? You can say isk du. Isk means or in some situations, but in this situation it means and. So if you want to say and you can say isk du in an informal situation and isk duk in a more formal situation. So imagine we have two friends, they're having a conversation, and one of them asks, du inchpeses, how are you? The other can respond, shat lavem, am very well, and now they can say isk du. Comrades, we have reached the end of this video. Congratulations if you have survived up to this point. Today we have been really stretching the mitk, the mind, in Armenian. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of those shenanigans. Send this to your Armenian speaking or learning friends. Send this to your polyglot comrades, and I will see you all very soon. Sătăi.